I ruled the small kingdom of Niani. I was a powerful and respected leader. One day, a strange hunter arrived in Niani. He was ugly, with a hunchback and a twisted leg. He carried with him a prophecy. The prophecy stated that I would have a son. This son would not be just any son. He would be a mighty king. He would unite the warring tribes of the Mandinka people. He would build a vast and powerful empire. I was overjoyed by the prophecy. I longed for a son to inherit my throne. I dreamed of my son uniting the Mandinka people and bringing peace to the land. But the prophecy also filled me with fear. It spoke of a son marked by destiny, a son who would be both a blessing and a curse.
The prophecy spread like wildfire through the kingdom. People whispered of the great king to come. They spoke of his future glory and the prosperity he would bring. But amidst the excitement, a shadow of unease lingered. The prophecy also spoke of great trials and tribulations that the future king would face. King Konate, driven by the prophecy and his desire for an heir, decided to take a second wife. He hoped that she would bear him the son the prophecy foretold. His choice was guided by destiny, leading him to the woman who would become the mother of an empire. Sogolon Konde was not like other princesses. She was said to be a sorceress, a woman of immense power and wisdom. She was also said to be incredibly ugly, with a hunchback and a twisted leg, just like the hunter who delivered the prophecy. When King Konate heard of Sogolon, he knew she was the one the prophecy spoke of.
I arrived in Niani accompanied by my sister. The people were taken aback by my appearance. They whispered and gossiped, their voices laced with fear and apprehension. Despite the whispers and the stares, I carried myself with dignity and grace. I knew my destiny, the burden I carried, and the greatness it promised.
King Konate, unfazed by the reactions of his people, welcomed Sogolon with open arms. He saw past her appearance, recognizing the strength and wisdom that lay within. Their marriage was a union of power, a merging of ambition and destiny, a testament to the king's belief in the prophecy. The people of Niani, however, were not so quick to embrace Sogolon. Fear and doubt clouded their judgment. They saw her as an outsider, a disruption to the natural order, a harbinger of change they were not ready to face. Time passed, and Sogolon gave birth to a son, but the child was not the mighty warrior the prophecy had foretold. He was a frail and sickly infant. Worse yet, he couldn't walk. He crawled on all fours, unable to stand on his own two legs. They named him Soundiata, but the people whispered another name, Sogolon's son, the lion cub who could not walk.
I was devastated. I had placed all my hopes in the prophecy, in Sogolon, in this child. The shame of having a son who could not walk, a son who seemed so far from the glorious future foretold, weighed heavily on me.
The birth of Soundiata, instead of ushering in an era of joy and celebration, cast a pall over the kingdom. The whispers intensified, transforming from hushed tones of apprehension to blatant pronouncements of doom. Sogolon, once feared for her power, became an object of ridicule. People blamed her for the child's condition, their fear morphing into cruelty. They called Soundiata a curse, a sign of ill omen, a blight on the kingdom.
Soundiata's disability became a source of shame for King Konate. He distanced himself from us, unable to face the reality that contradicted his dreams of a powerful heir. He focused on his other children, hoping that they would fulfill the destiny he so desperately craved.
Sogolon, however, refused to give up on her son. She knew in her heart that Soundiata was destined for greatness. She poured all her love and energy into him, nurturing his spirit and shielding him from the scorn of the world. Day after day, she encouraged him to stand, to walk, to fight against the weakness that plagued him.
I would tell him stories of his ancestors, of their strength, their courage, their triumphs against all odds. I reminded him of the prophecy, igniting a spark of hope in his young heart. I taught him that his disability was not a curse, but a challenge to be overcome, a test of his resilience.
One day, something miraculous happened. Soundiata, driven by his mother's unwavering faith and his own burning desire to prove himself, took his first steps. He gripped onto an iron rod specially made for him and pulled himself up. His legs, weak and unsteady, trembled beneath him. But he stood tall, his eyes shining with newfound determination. The lion cub had found his pause.
I stood tall, my eyes shining with newfound determination. The lion cub had found his paws.